Okay. The last question is, is there anything that I would recommend that you do differently? I think I've addressed that in the last talk. It's the way you do your strategy analysis. I mean, I did put up these two alternatives, and the alternative one, which I said was a caricature, it actually, a lot of companies plan pretty much that way. My guess is a lot of your companies plan pretty much that. Management knows what it wants to do. It seeks out confirming data. It then executes the plan, and you're not very open to creative change. So you've got to step back and create really significant, viable options that could be implemented in your business, and do this option-based approach. You create 2 or 3 options that are really viable. They're integrated from the start. Okay? You ask yourself, what would have to be true for me to ever follow this other option? This is an option I might follow. My current environment, I have no idea whether or not this is really viable. So you identify what is the items that really need to be true for me to switch my strategy. And then you agree on how I'm going to decide whether or not that's likely. Go out and research that, and then choose the strategy based on the analysis. And that will create a little more strategic flexibility, a little bit more blue ocean strategies, and not kind of lock you into this sort of myopic thinking. So I think that's a big change that a lot of companies are going through. So, okay. Questions, comments?
So, what would you say is better to analyze the industry and position yourself within the industry, or do actually try to pursue business model innovation in every industry and try to kind of recreate the industry standards?
I don't like the phrase in every industry. Right? But I do think you need to think one trap of doing a standard strategy analysis is interpreting your industry too narrowly and your opportunity set too narrowly. So, I mean, I'm talking about blue ocean strategies. So clearly what I've got in mind is strategy is an innovation process that gets you thinking about these blue ocean opportunities, and then you need to use the strategic frameworks to parse the problem and see if this industry you're trying to create is going to be able to build barriers to entry, build unique position that's unassailable, and build a competitive advantage. You have to use the same frameworks, but you've got to have this innovation process to generate how do you generate that an iPad is a great idea? Right? How do you generate that Cirque du Soleil? You're all familiar with Cirque du Soleil? That's the case we teach at Harvard around blue ocean strategies. And you got the circus industry, an aging industry. What the hell? This is dead. Who's going to go in the circus industry? So Cirque du Soleil went in the industry. It's got 23 shows around the world, each show different, each show fantastically profitable. It's a gold mine, and that's a kind of blue ocean strategy. Yeah. You're in the circus industry, but if you analyze the traditional circus industry, you're not going to stay there. But if you can creatively think beyond your current interpretation of the industry, you can create this new opportunity. But as you can begin to see the new opportunity, you got to see who are the potential competitors, how can I build a sustainable competitive advantage, build barriers to entry, barriers to exit. So you've got to apply the other frameworks go with the analysis, but it's having an innovation process at the front end that creates the opportunity set to look at. And a lot of it has to do with this option-based approach to strategic analysis that I'm pitching, because the option-based approach is, okay, I've got a strategy I'm following, I've got this, I'm pretty sure. So what I do is I think of a couple of alternative ways I could configure this business and be different, and then I kind of look for what would have to be true for me to be different and follow these strategies, and that kind of process creates a kind of pretty creative foundation to come up with the Cirque du Soleil, the iPads, those kinds of ideas. Okay? Yeah?
But now that you mentioned Cirque du Soleil, I think they actually took advantage of a really simple thing, and that is that all other circuses basically had the same content. They all used animals, they all used clowns, and they did a really simple thing that was pretty straightforward, and they just said, we're not going to have animals, we're not going to have clowns. We focused on the performance and the visual component of the entire show. It does not necessarily mean that they introduced something completely new and different just sort of
Yeah, but that's,
reposition.
right, that's what innovation is all about.
Yeah.
And innovation is often very, very simple observations, right? Think about the iPad. There have been tablet computers. The tablet computers have been around forever. I mean, they've been around for 10 years anyway. Didn't go anywhere. Nowhere. They had tablet computers, everybody said they're junk, we're not going to do it. So where the hell did Steve Jobs get the idea that a tablet computer is going to do something, right? And he kind of envisioned what the new space might be. And people are now talking about we're in the post-PC era, right? And it's all because of the iPad and the iPhone. You know, we're going to mobile devices and they're not PCs. And I go to board meetings now. Both my board meetings are downloaded to my iPad. Okay, I don't take my personal computer, download it to the iPad. You know, and that the vision to see that there's a potential to do that. And so you see the potential and you try an experimental product. You say, well, to really deliver on that potential, I've got to make it amazingly easy to do certain jobs that people want to do. Right? I'm not interested in people doing IT production, right? I'm interested in people consuming information services. So if you think about it that way, the way it works on an iPhone, it's the same thing on an iPad, and you know, you sort of into a new zone. But so that's it. And Cirque du Soleil, most of the creative ideas are very simple ideas in retrospect. You kind of, well, gee, I knew that, but I didn't do anything, right? So it's the guys who have the ideas and are willing to venture some risk that capitalize on it. Yeah. All right, that's probably a good place to wrap up. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed being here. Hopefully you've gotten something out of it. Hopefully you go on and come to the next several programs. So, thank you.